Huh. I wonder. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Azura. I'm just some random person who loves the Elder Scrolls, has a YouTube channel, and has incredibly mediocre video editing skills. Today I wanted to make a video that is a little bit more laid back and kind of different from like my regular scheduled content. But I mean, let's be honest here, like does my channel have any content continuity in the first place? Okay, well, I wanted to talk about something that hardly anyone talks about or maybe even cares about because it is pretty niche. Yeah, so today we are talking about Elder Scrolls Metal, and no, not the kind that you can eat. As someone who almost exclusively listens to metal and almost exclusively plays Elder Scrolls games, I am pretty excited to share this with you guys today. As you can see from the title, I've listened to almost the entire discographies of 48 Elder Scrolls metal bands that are almost entirely focused on Elder Scrolls or somewhat inspired by it. If you're someone who doesn't normally listen to metal, some of this music might be a little bit much for you, but do not worry. I'm going to be breaking it down into genres, starting with the most easy listening, and then moving on to Dear God, my ears are fucking bleeding. I'm not going to be reviewing the music per se, just kind of giving my own observations and opinions on the bands. And in saying that, opinions are subjective, so you guys might like something that I don't like. And I want to apologize because I am sorry that I have a better taste in music than you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. I will also be introducing an arbitrary rating system that is based on entirely nothing because I have to make this video more exciting somehow. And no, it is not going to be a tier list. I'm actually going to be giving a star rating, and Azura's star rating. And again, take these opinions with a grain of salt because yeah, everyone's opinion is subjective. And so this video isn't you just listening to my voice the entire time. I will be putting song previews so you guys can get some context. This video isn't going to be monetized, so if you did enjoy the work that I put into it, I will leave a link to my Ko-Fi in the description. Ko-Fi? Ko-Fi? Coffee? Ko-Fi? I say Ko-Fi. I'll also be leaving links to all the artists as well, so if you want to go check out their work and support them, if you liked anything, please feel free to do that. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, now we're starting out with the easiest, most accessible, and most casual genre, power metal. Okay, so first band on the list is Daedric Tales. They are a symphonic power metal band from Austria, and they have a couple EPs from 2013 and 2016, and a full-length album that was released in 2017. This is a female-fronted symphonic power metal band. They've got a lot of Elder Scrolls lyrics and themes, and it's mostly focused around Morrowind and Skyrim. There's nothing particularly unique of note, however, this is probably one of the easiest and most digestible bands that is going to be focused on in this video. There's catchy melodies, and it would be a really cool band if this is something that you're already into. I give them 3 out of 5 stars for being listenable and pretty well produced. Next up we have Battleborn. This is a power metal band from the UK. They released an EP in 2020 and a full-length album in 2023. I don't actually think I can read the first line that I've written here on my script, but all I can say is that Skyrim power metal do be kinda crazy. I'm surprised there actually isn't more like Skyrim themed power metal bands because it does just seem like the perfect recipe. But yeah, this band has got all the cheesiness, the charm, the melodies, guitar solos, you know, all the stuff that standard power metal does, except they are just singing about the Dragonborn and shit. This band is obviously named after the Battleborn family in Skyrim, which I do find a little bit ironic because I think one of their albums is kind of based around taking Skyrim back for the Nords and does seem very like Stormcloak kind of focused, so yeah, I thought that was a little funny to note. And this is probably also one of the most easily digestible bands on this list as well. And it's not really my thing, so I give them 1 out of 5 stars because I cannot stand power metal. Next up, death metal. Still easy listening in my opinion, but some of these bands might be a little bit much if you have inexperienced ears. First up is Spider Control Rod. This is a death metal band from Pennsylvania, and they've only released a demo in 2024. This is self-described dwemer metal. It's a very raw production, but it is a 2-female project, which is pretty cool. It sounds like it was recorded with Kagranak's tools, like, you guys just have to listen to it. The band name is also obviously in reference to the Dwemer Spider Control Rod tool that you can get in like Skyrim and stuff. I give them 2 out of 5 stars for the novelty, and it is kind of unique. Alright, now we've got Jorvaskr. Jorvaskr? This is a black and death metal band from Austria. They have a self-titled demo and a full-length album that they released in 2019. This is Skyrim-themed black/death metal. Some of the song names are in Dovakrid, and honestly, I can't tell what language some of their other songs they're in. I just know that they're not English. The first demo is actually completely in Dovakrid, which is kind of a feat because there is very little of it to work with. The name is obviously in reference to the Hall of the Companions in Skyrim. Another point of note is that they have a song titled Bloody Skyrim Splatter Party, and which is what I would imagine is playing through the head of a 13-year-old in 2011 when they go on their first massacre in Whiterun.
Let's come, Skyrim, bloody splatter party! 'Cause it's best to live there!
I give this band 3 out of 5 stars for their unique use of lyrics. Alright, now we've got Yagrum Bagarn. This is an atmospheric groove/death metal band from Massachusetts. They've got a full-length album that they released in 2024, so the band is fairly new. This is Morrowind-themed death metal. They use voice samples from Dagothar and Azura in some of the songs, as well as some sound effects from Morrowind as well. I actually really enjoyed this album. It's not something I would normally listen to, but it was very well produced.
Take this thing from the hand of God.
The band is obviously named after the last surviving Dwemer, Yagrum Bagarn, which you meet in Morrowind in the main questline. The band members also use like unique aliases that are named after their own original Elder Scrolls characters, which I thought was pretty cute. I give them 4 out of 5 stars for the effort and the Azura references as well. Next up is Ysgramor. This is a melodic death metal band from Germany. They released an EP in 2017 and also a full-length album in 2017. It sounds like Viking metal, but Skyrim. Like imagine Amon Amarth, but Skyrim instead. It's alright, like it's not really my thing, but I do understand the appeal of this music to others. The name is obviously in reference to Ysgramor, the Atmoran hero that the Nords basically worship. But you guys already know this stuff and I don't really have to explain it to you. I give them 2 out of 5 stars because I'm not a huge fan of Viking metal, but it's not bad. Now we've got Hermaeus Mora. This is an atmospheric death metal/metalcore band from North Carolina, but from what I gather they're mostly focused on like metalcore and deathcore and stuff now. They released an EP in 2018 and an EP in 2022. I don't really want to read this first line that I've written, but I do have to say this is what one of my friends said when I sent them this band. They said to suggest to garden some bitches instead. I can't put this in the video. It's typical metalcore, very themed around Elder Scrolls. They use voice lines from Hermaeus Mora from Skyrim and Dragonborn. I did actually like one of the songs, but not really the rest. But I can see how this sort of music would appeal to fans of the subgenre. I think that they are also using AI art as some of their album covers, but again, I can't really tell. But yeah, if you're part of the metal scene, you know how kindly people take to that. I give them 1 out of 5 stars because it's totally not my thing, and that potential use of AIR is, yeah, not good. Next up we've got Boethia, which is a death metal band from California. They've released EPs in 2014 and 2017, and then a full-length album and an EP in 2018. They are very classically death metal, but questionably Elder Scrolls. Apart from the name and their first album, they don't actually seem to have much Elder Scrolls content. They describe themselves as a celestial death metal project. There is a lot of Lovecraft influence, which you could arguably say is related to Elder Scrolls because there is Lovecraft influence in Elder Scrolls as well. But yeah, they do have a couple acoustic covers of some in-game songs, which I did enjoy, so they get 3 out of 5 stars because I probably wouldn't choose to listen to them, but I did appreciate those covers at least. Alright, I put doom metal after death metal in terms of listening enjoyment for the unenlightened, since doom can be a kind of weird in-between. Some of these bands technically are less intense than some of the death metal bands that we covered, but I feel like doom can still be an acquired taste. Alright, first up is Maroon's Dagon. This is a doom/stoner metal band from Michigan. They released a demo in 2013 and a single in 2011. This was a really hard to find stoner doom project. I could only find a few songs on SoundCloud for this band, and as the name suggests, the music is heavily focused on the Daedric princes, with songs about Maroon's Dagon, Azura, and Molag Bal. They missed a huge opportunity to create a brand new genre called skooma metal, but haha, get it? Because, you know, stoner metal? Yeah. I give them 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed what I heard, and I do wish that there was some more. Next up we have Night Mother. This is a sludge/doom project from Illinois, and they have an EP from 2022 and an EP in 2023, so they are fairly a newer band. This band's actually really good. You know, it's very doom, very slow, very demure. I love it. Their music is very inspired by Elder Scrolls, but there's also some Tolkien and D&D influences in there as well. I really enjoyed their stuff, and this probably has to be one of my favorite bands that I'm covering in this video. As the name suggests, it's a reference to the Dark Brotherhood and based off of the creepy old lady that you meet in Skyrim and Oblivion. I give them 5 out of 5 stars for the overall quality and enjoyment of the music. Alright, I'm gonna struggle saying this next one. It's the band's called Wuthrad. I can't say that word, I'm sorry. This is a death/doom metal project, actually a solo project from Italy, and they've got a full-length album that was released in 2022. This band's definitely more doom metal focused, even though it's death/doom. It's very Skyrim themed, obviously named after Ysgramor's axe. They use voice lines and samples from the Greybeards in the songs too, which is kind of cool. But it does seem like the Bandcamp and all of the official band pages have been taken down. Like the only place I could actually find the music was a re-upload to YouTube, so that was kind of sad because I actually really liked it. I give them 4 out of 5 stars, definitely would listen again. Alright, last one we have for Doof Metal. Alright, last on the list for Doom Metal is Sinister Sacrament. This is a Black and Doom / death metal project, a solo project actually from Gibraltar. I'll put where that is on the map because I had to Google it myself. I had no idea where it was. They have a few EPs / albums on their Bandcamp, but yeah, it's not really particularly Elder Scrolls focused from what I gather. There is a lot of mixture of different themology in their music as well. Like, there's some inspiration there, but I actually wouldn't consider them an Elder Scrolls band. Give them 2 out of 5 stars because it wasn't really my thing. Alright, now we're moving into the serious stuff, black metal and dungeon synth. I'm sure no one is surprised that a majority of these bands in this video are black metal bands, and for those of you who don't actually know, this is because black metal fans are some of the biggest fucking nerds in the world, and fantasy has always been a big influence on the genre. For skeptics out there who are not normally interested in black metal, I implore you to keep watching because there are actually some hidden gems here and you might find something that you like. Alright, first up is Ancestor Moth. This is a raw black metal solo project from Colorado. They have only one album, which is actually a split album with another band that we're going to be covering later in the video. This music is pretty raw, but it's actually pretty good. It's typical raw black metal with some fantasy elements and dungeon synths mixed in there, and the band name is obviously inspired by the ancestor moths and moth priests in the lore. I give them 3 out of 5 stars, but it's probably not for everyone. Next up is Ashes of Dagoth. This is a symphonic black metal band from Germany, and they only have one EP that was released in 2015. It is very heavily Morrowind themed, and the lyrical content is exclusively Elder Scrolls and heavily focused on Dagothr and the Sixth House. It reminds me a lot of Carrick Engren with the very symphonic black metal elements in it, and the vocals actually give like a really like ashy tone, like kind of like the, Dunmer males in Morrowind, but I don't think it is intentional. Maybe it is, and if it is, it's a really nice touch. There is also an influence of like the Morrowind soundtrack in the instrumentals, and Jeremy Soule, they are coming for you. I give them 4 out of 5 stars. I really like the instrumentals and the solid themology throughout the album. Next up is Cult of Azura. They are a black metal band from Canada, and they released an EP in 2018 and a full-length album in 2022. This is very raw black metal. It's very heavily Elder Scrolls themed, with each band member actually taking on a persona of their original character as well. Bonus points for the real drums, because there are so many like black metal bands and projects that we will hear in this video that just use those like synthesized drums, which I cannot stand. They also get bonus points for having Azura in the name. So I give them 3 out of 5 stars for the Azura reference, and the music was okay. Alright, I'm so excited to share this next one, and this next one is called Noctool. This is an atmospheric black metal solo project from the UK with only one album being released in 2021. I'm really excited to talk about this one because this is actually the side project of Serena Cherry. She is the vocalist for Svalbard, and I thought it was pretty amazing to find out she has an entirely Elder Scrolls focused side project because I actually already like Svalbard's music. I really liked her stuff. And even though it is only Skyrim focused, I do have to give her 5 out of 5 stars because I have been listening to this like so much recently. Next up we have Daedric Armor, which is a black metal band from Australia with only one full-length album released in 2022. Again, this is a very heavily Elder Scrolls influenced band, and it goes unbelievably hard. It's very classically black metal, but it has pretty decent production quality. They also use voice lines from Oblivion and Skyrim in the music too, which I thought was kind of cool. I've got to give them 5 out of 5 stars. This is another band that I've been listening to a lot and added to my Spotify as well. Next up we've got Raththeer. This is a folk/black metal solo project who are from Australia as well. They have one EP that was released in 2013. This is actually a certified banger. I really enjoyed the folk/dungeon synth elements in the music. There is some Elder Scrolls influence, however it does appear that it's mostly focused on like Tolkien content. I'm not sure if I would consider it entirely Elder Scrolls, but yeah, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. I give them 5 out of 5 stars again. This is another favorite of mine. Next we've got Daedric Chamber. This is a black metal and dungeon synth solo project from Tennessee. They've got 6 EPs and 5 full-length albums released between 2022 and 2024, as long as a split album with Ancestor Moth, which we already discussed. This band is actually what inspired me to make this video in the first place. One of my viewers actually shared one of their songs in my Discord, and after I checked it out, I was so curious to see if there was other Elder Scrolls metal. It's definitely heavily Elder Scrolls influenced and very Skyrim centric. There is a great mix of dungeon synth and raw black metal in the music, and it's definitely a rougher production quality. It's probably not for everyone, but there's obviously a lot of dedication put into this project, and I really like it. I gotta give them 5 out of 5 stars again. I feel like I'm really showing my bias here. Now we've got Daedroth. This is a black metal/ambient solo project from France with only one EP released in 2016. This is a very raw black metal production, definitely homemade. There is a couple songs about Maroon's Dagon, even though the EP that they released is called Molag Bal Slaves. There's also some fantasy and tavern music aspects to the music as well. There's also an ESO lute cover of the song from Dread Daedra Save Us, and that's pretty cool because this is the only ESO related song in the entire video. I give them 3 out of 5 stars. It was definitely very rough around the edges, but I really did enjoy that ESO lute cover. Alright, I'm gonna struggle saying this next one. This next band is Eichenthron? Germans, please tell me if I'm saying that right in the comments. This is an epic black/folk metal band. I think it might be a solo project from Germany, and they've only got one demo that was released in 2016. There's only 2 songs from this artist, and I think that the lyrics are in German, so I can't tell like how Elder Scrolls influence it is, but one of the songs does have Sankrator in the title, and they also use voice lines from Ulfric Stormcloak and Co. in one of the other songs.
I fight so all the fighting I've already done hasn't been
It definitely has some aspects of atmospheric black metal, so I gotta give them 4 out of 5 stars because I am a sucker for atmospheric black metal and I did really like the music. Next up we've got Jägerthorn. This is a darkwave ambient epic black metal project from Poland, and they've got 4 EPs and 5 full-length albums. I will admit I didn't actually listen to all of them, but I did definitely listen to most of it. This one's very raw black metal, like very, very raw that it actually hurt my ears, I'm not going to lie. It's heavily Elder Scrolls themed and probably one of the oldest bands on this list because their earliest album is from 1999. There's also actually an album themed entirely around Redguard, which I thought was pretty cool. There's also literally just one song in one of the albums that's just the Morrowind combat music, and I'm not entirely sure how legal that is because they are technically selling the music. So you better watch out, Jeremy Soul's coming for you guys. Watch my Jeremy Soul video, please. Yeah, so it's a nice mix of raw black metal, symphonic, gothic, fantasy, you know, ambient, all that sort of stuff, blah 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 blah. There's a huge collection of albums and a very extensive array of genres covered. I'm going to give 3 out of 5 stars because I really appreciate the dedication, but I probably wouldn't listen to these albums willingly. Next we've got King Kelclemenar. Next we've got King Kelclemenar. This is a black metal solo project from Poland again, with only 1 EP released in 2002. This project is actually a solo project of the guy behind Jägerthorn, but it has since been discontinued. The EP is titled Dwemer Genocide, and it's very typically black metal with what I can assume is Elder Scrolls related lyrics, probably about the Chimer killing Dwemer or something, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. I give it 2 out of 5 stars. It's not really anything special. Next up is Mysterium Xarxes, which I think it's supposed to say Mysterium Xarxes, but you know, they've instead of a U, they've changed it to a V because that's like really cool and cult, you know? But But yeah, anyways, this is a raw black metal solo project from Austria, and they've got 2 full-length albums, 1 EP, and 2 split albums from 2023 to 2024. This is typical raw black metal. I'm not sure if the project is heavily influenced by Elder Scrolls other than a name being referenced to the books that Menkar Camoran wrote for the Mythic Dawn and Oblivion, and some song titles are referenced to Morrowind. I can't really say if the lyrics contain like any Elder Scrolls themology because I actually can't understand a fucking word that this guy is saying. So yeah, I give them 3 out of 5 stars. I think some, you know, black metal fans would really enjoy this one. Okay, next up we've got Omen Grot, which is a solo black metal project from Poland, and they've got an EP and a full-length album. Again, this project is from the same guy behind Jägerthorn and King Kelclemenar. This music was released in 1998, actually both, you know, before both of them were formed. It's definitely a very, very raw production. And the music actually sounds more akin to the Elder Scrolls soundtracks, even though it came out before Elder Scrolls. I give it 3 out of 5 stars because it's not the cleanest, but I really do like the melodies. Next up we've got Mistveil. This is a dungeon synth solo project from Colorado, and they released 1 album in 2018 and 1 album in 2019. All music is inspired by Oblivion and Skyrim, and presumably the name is, you know, named after Mistveil Keep in Riften. It's referred to as pure Tamrielic dungeon synth, and the lyrics contain references to the Black Sacrament.
For the sins of the unworthy must be baptized in blood and fear.
It's nothing super revolutionary, but it's alright. I give them 3 out of 5 stars. It's pretty easy listening. Next up, we've got Ysgramor. This is a black metal solo project from Canada with 2 demos released in 2015. Again, not to be confused with Ysgramor that we've already talked about previously. This is a solo raw black metal project and it's very raw. Like, so raw that the music like actually hurt my ears, and this is coming from somebody who does like black metal. The songs seem to be mostly themed around Skyrim, and there's also a black metal cover of The Dragonborn Comes, which is pretty cool. I give 1 out of 5 stars because I can't listen to this, like it hurts my ears, but the cover of The Dragonborn Comes is actually really good and I do recommend checking it out. Alright, I'm gonna say this one wrong as well, but next up we have Polnok? I don't know how to say it. This is a raw black metal and dungeon synth solo project from Russia, with 1 demo being released in 2024. It's Morrowind themed raw black metal. The atmospheric parts are actually pretty nice, but I don't have like too much to say. It's pretty solid. I just wish I could understand what they were saying because everything's in Russian. So I give them 3 out of 5 stars, you know, it was pretty alright. Next up we have Azura. No, not me, I don't make music. This is an atmospheric black metal / dungeon synth 2-person project from South Carolina / Sweden. They've got 1 demo in 2017, and I think they've got another album as well. I love this, not just because of the band name and the theme. This has to be one of my favorite bands on the list as well. Like, I'm really looking forward to anything else that they release. Their music really has a fantasy and almost retro feeling to it. The mix of genres is great. It sounds very similar to Summoning, so if you're a fan of them, then I would definitely check out this band. The Elder Scrolls influence runs very deep, drawing some inspiration from the game soundtracks as well. I gotta give them 5 out of 5 stars, this one is definitely a banger. Next we've got Blank Slate. This is a raw black metal and dungeon synth 2-person project from Indiana, and they have a demo and full-length album from 2020. This band includes some Elder Scrolls motifs, but the music is like incredibly raw, like raw black metal. Like it sounds like it was literally recorded on like a petty soul gem. I really liked the dungeon synth parts, but yeah, the rest of it was pretty unlistenable. There is some Elder Scrolls themology in the work, but I don't think it's as Elder Scrolls influenced as some of the other bands that we're covering in this video. I gotta give them 1 out of 5 stars. I literally can't listen to this, so maybe I'm a poser. Next is Diabolic Wizardry. This is a melodic black metal solo project from Arizona, and they released a demo in 2023 and an EP in 2024, so they are a bit of a newer band. This is another heavily fantasy / dungeon synth inspired project. It sounds very similar to Summoning and Azura that we covered just before, and I like it. It's really magical, it's really chill. There is some Elder Scrolls influence in the music, but I wouldn't consider them exclusively an Elder Scrolls band. I gotta give them 4 out of 5 stars, it's pretty good. Next we've got Lithnilian, which is a raw black metal solo project from Russia with 1 album released in 2023. This is Oblivion-inspired metal. I really like the album art for this one, but since everything is in Russian, I can't really tell how much Elder Scrolls influence is in the music. It's pretty decent though, and the artist has actually released other albums too, but again, I can't quite tell if it's all Elder Scrolls related or not. I gotta give 3 out of 5 stars. I really appreciate the Oblivion inclusion since it seems to be the odd one out compared to Morrowind and Skyrim. Okay, I'm excited for this one as well. This next one is Velothian, or Velothian, however you want to say it. This is a post-black metal project from Oregon, and they've got one demo released in 2024, so they're quite new. This is Morrowind-themed post-black metal. There is a lot of post and prog elements in the music, and it actually kind of reminds me of Ghostbath. Like, I absolutely dig it. They use voice lines from Morrowind in their music, and it's a very fresh and welcome change compared to a lot of the other bands that we've covered. They use sound effects and voice lines from Morrowind as well, and the name is obviously in reference to the Prophet Veloth from the Dunmerry lore. It's very well produced and definitely a certified banger. I'm really excited to see what these guys release in the future because I really liked it. Again, no surprise, 5 out of 5 stars. I know I've said this a lot, but this band is probably one of my all-time favorites that we are covering in this video. Next up, we've got Dark Mage, which is a melodic black metal solo project from Canada. They've got 2 demos from 2022, 1 full-length album from 2022, and 1 EP from 2023. This project is actually inspired by Witcher and Elder Scrolls, so there's a mixture of influences within the music. Again, your very run-of-the-mill black metal. It's good, but I'm not sure if it could entirely be considered an Elder Scrolls band just because of the mixture of influences. I gotta give 3 out of 5 stars, it's pretty solid. Next is Oriel's Bow. This is a raw black metal and dungeon synth solo project from Bulgaria with 1 demo released in 2024. There's not much to say about this one. It's heavily Skyrim influenced raw black metal. Nothing unique really stood out to me. Three out of 5 stars, not my favorite, but it is listenable. Next up is Daedric Disciple. God damn, we really love Daedric, and then some other word for like our band name, don't we? Like, it's totally original. This is a black metal slash dungeon synth slash folk solo project from the UK, and they have a demo and EP released in 2020 and a full-length album that was released in 2021. This one goes pretty hard. I really love the lo-fi dungeon synth and intense black metal mixture in the music. It's a really underrated project if you ask me. It's heavily Elder Scrolls influenced, however, I don't think that's the only influence in the music. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Next up, we've got Rogvir, which is a black slash death metal project from Germany with 1 EP released in 2023. Stormcloak black metal. Yep, that is a genre now. I'm sure the name probably gave it away. It is heavily Skyrim influenced, however the lyrics are in German so I didn't really understand them. But some of the songs are pretty catchy, so I will give them that. Four out of 5 stars. Even though I'm not a Stormcloak enjoyer, the music is pretty good. Next we've got Volkihar, which is a black metal project from the UK with 1 full-length album being released in 2020. Vampire black metal. Basically imagine the Dawnguard DLC, but if it was music. The album cover even has Harkin on it, I think. I think that's who it's supposed to be. But yeah, there's not much else to say. 2 out of 5 stars. It's alright, but nothing revolutionary. Next we've got Azadal. This is a black metal band from Missouri, and they've got 1 EP released in 2017, a split album in 2019, and an EP in 2020 as well. It's Skyrim and Dragonborn themed. The name is actually based off of the Dragon Priest on Solstheim. It's kind of funny because the last one was Dawnguard focused and this one is Dragonborn focused. That literally wasn't intentional. I just covered these bands as I found them, alright? They have one song that sounds like Slayer's Raining Blood, but other than that, it's your typical black metal. Three out of 5 stars, pretty good. Next is Bloodlit Throne. This is a raw black metal project from West Virginia, and they have one full-length album released in 2022 and 2023, and an EP from 2023 as well. Raw and DSBM Elder Scrolls black metal. I would personally suggest listening to this when Serana rejects your advances, and you just need to let out all your anger and sadness because, you know, that face window GF. Is that- wait, what year is it? What year is it? No, I can't say that. I enjoy the music quite a bit. Themology-wise, it's very Elder Scrolls, and the band name is based off of a location in Skyrim. I give them 4 out of 5 stars. This is another band I would really recommend checking out. Now we've got a very special one up next. This one is Inwas of Tamriel, a raw black metal solo project from Cuba, and they've released 7 EPs in 2024. There is so many songs from this person. Like, I didn't actually get a chance to listen to them all, but the best way I could describe it is disorganized, organized chaos. The song names are basically Elder Scrolls themes, but the lyrics are just screaming. Indiscernible screaming. Some of the songs actually sound like Life Lover songs, which is kind of cool because I do like Life Lover. But yeah, some of my favorite song titles are High Elves Fucking Suck and Program Daedric Butchery. I gotta give this one 1 out of 5 stars. It's absolute hell, but I think that might be the point. We've got another good one coming up. This is Sheagorath. They are a melodic, heavy death thrash black metal band from Austria. They've got a demo from 2014, EP in 2016, full-length albums from 2017, 2019, and 2021, and an EP in 2023. This is self-described video game metal, and they focus entirely on Elder Scrolls themology. There is some rare Oblivion-focused songs and albums, which is pretty cool, and there's a good mix of genres, clean vocals, growling, and even a female vocalist feature, which is kind of rare. It's not bad, but I think this band would actually be pretty easily digestible for people who don't normally listen to black metal. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I think a lot of people who normally wouldn't listen to black metal would really like this band. Next up is Fork of Horripilation. This is a black metal project from Brazil, and they've got an EP from 2022 and a full-length album in 2023. This is raw black metal fronted by a female vocalist. The lyrics and song names are all in Portuguese or something, I think, so I can't really attest to how Elder Scrolls that this band is, but I did enjoy listening to it. The Fork of Horripilation is a Daedric artifact of Sheagorath that you see in Oblivion and Morrowind, and I think also in the Skyrim Creation Club too. I gotta give these guys 3 out of 5 stars, bonus points for the queen on vocals. Next is Hermamora. This one is a black metal solo project from Alabama, and they have one EP from 2015. It's very heavily Skyrim influenced, and they use voice lines from Hermaeus Mora and Nocturnal in some of the songs. It's very typical black metal. I didn't mind it personally, and I did like a lot of the symphonic aspects. I gave them 3 out of 5 stars. Next is Lord Sithis. This is a black metal solo project from Spain, and they have a full-length album from 2020 and 2023. It's generally Elder Scrolls focused, however there is some rare Oblivion content. Again, very typical black metal, and I did enjoy listening to it. It's heavily focused on Sithis and Daedra, as you would probably assume, and a couple of the song names were pretty good. We've got Guzzle My Shit Adric Scum and Cyrodiilic Genocide. Three out of 5 stars, I really like the song titles. Next we've got Valkanaz. This is a raw black metal project from Nevada. They've got 7 demos, 6 EPs, and 8 full-length albums spanning from 2009 to 2022. I actually couldn't find most of the music from this band, and only a few songs were left up on SoundCloud. There's some nice dungeon synth and raw black metal there, and definitely quite a bit of Elder Scrolls themology. I enjoyed what little of it I could find, and the band name is in reference to a ranking of Dremora, the Valkanaz. I give them 4 out of 5 stars, it's pretty nice dungeon synth. Next we've got Daedric Blessing. Yes, another band that starts with Daedric and then, something. This is a dungeon synth and black metal solo project from Russia, and they've got 5 albums and 2 EPs that have been released. This guy's actually a YouTuber. He has a small following over on YouTube, and from what I can gather, he talks about obscure music. His channel is entirely in Russian, however, so I can't really understand what he's talking about, but it was kind of cool to find out this little fact. I will link his channel below because I dare not to pronounce it because I know I'm gonna butcher it, so yeah, check his stuff out if you speak Russian. He has a few other projects, but this one is Elder Scrolls themed black metal. He's got a huge discography, and I would recommend checking it out. It seems to encompass a large amount of different Elder Scrolls lore, including a whole album around Battlespire, and I really enjoyed listening to it. Four out of 5 stars, I definitely would recommend, especially if you like your black metal raw. And last but not least, at number 48, we've got Mork Dryad. This is a black metal solo project from Idaho with 1 full-length album released in 2023. Typical black metal, once again. Not sure how Elder Scrolls influenced this project is. I feel like they probably draw inspiration at most. However, there is an album with Tamriel in the title. I'm not sure if I consider this an entirely Elder Scrolls band, but 3 out of 5, pretty decent and a nice finisher to the list. Alright, now we've got to talk about some honorable mentions. These aren't exactly Elder Scrolls bands, but they are bands who have made songs focused on Elder Scrolls. I'll keep my opinions to myself for these ones because, yeah, they are pretty popular songs with some people. First up is the notorious Dragon Force, who made a song called The Last Dragonborn. Many of you have probably already heard this one, and honestly Dragon Force seems like the best choice for Skyrim metal. Next we've got Trivium. For those of you who don't know, ZeniMax collaborated with them to release a music video in celebration of the release of the Blackwood chapter for Elder Scrolls Online in 2021. The song itself isn't exactly Elder Scrolls in nature at all, but that's what they sold it as. And lastly, we have Saltatio Mortis, who also worked with ZeniMax to release a music video in celebration of the High Isle chapter for Elder Scrolls Online in 2022. I have very mixed feelings about this video. It just doesn't really scream Elder Scrolls to me, other than the feature of the 3 heroes from the cinematic trailers in the later part of the video. The song does include like the melody from the ESO like theme song though, so there is some effort there at least. Alright, well thank you for sticking with me this far into the video. I hope you guys did enjoy this one, even though it is a little bit different from what I normally make. And I do understand that metal might not be everyone's cup of tea. I do hope at least one person discovers some new music or band from this video. However, I do want to give a shout out to all of the artists that I've covered. And again, links to all of their Bandcamp, Spotify's, YouTube's, etc. are in the description, so please go show some support if you like anything you heard. And again, since I'm using other people's music in this video, I am not monetizing it. If you like the work that I put into making this video, you can at very most leave a tip over on my Ko-Fi, or at the very least, you can leave a like on the video. Please let me know in the comments which bands you guys like the most, or if there's any other bands that I didn't cover in this video. I mostly based all my research off the Metal Archives, but I know that there's more bands and artists out there that probably make Elder Scrolls music. Links to my Discord and Twitter are in the description. As always, leave a like if you like this video, leave a comment if you didn't like it and tell me why, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching guys, and have a good one.